Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Scary Stories by the Campfire. We are your counselors tonight, Jeremy.
And Jason.
And tonight we are talking about Jeepers Creepers. A four-movie franchise that,
there's 4 movies.
There are 4 movies. And it's got a lot of mixed reviews and mixed things about it. But we're here to talk about that. Because why not?
Because that's what we do.
How'd you like my little diddle, Jason? Completely on the spot. Completely improv. It's like, whose line is it anyway?
Where the, what do they say? Where the...
Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, so like what? Who's got the most points, but the points don't matter, something like that.
Yeah, hold on. I'll find it.
Okay, so
yes, Jason, what did you think?
Jeepers Creepers. I didn't mind the movie. I remember. Here's the thing about it. When growing up, we had sci-fi. Sci-fi is where I saw most of a lot of like those weird kind of way out there horror movies. I think I saw like Pumpkinhead on there. I saw like Dog Soldiers on there. But I do remember Jeepers Creepers. I think they played the first one and the second one, I think, one time back to back. And I'm going to be honest with you. I actually remember a little bit. I remember none of these movies, but I remember specifically like the second movie took place in the middle of a field inside of a school bus. That's about all I remember. It's like that movie is like, it's got a school bus, bunch of football players, I think cheerleaders, in a school bus being attacked by this thing. This movie, I kind of remember the beginning with like the pipe and the truck. And then I remember the ending with the one main guy taken away and having his eyes removed. I remember that. But everything in the middle, blank page. I don't remember it.
Well, we are here to talk about it, Jason, where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
See, that's what it is. And you looked it up.
I did look it up, but that's okay.
So the movie's okay. I do really think this has like really no plot.
It really doesn't. It's just a killer monster killing people.
Stalking. Yeah. So pretty much what it's about, what's his name? Derry? Is it Derry or?
Yeah, it's Derry.
Derry. Like as in like Maine.
Derry, Maine.
And his sister, Trish, I'm pretty sure is what her name was.
Yes,
they're
Trish.
cross-countrying back to their parents' place for spring break. And that's the plot of it. They come across, I guess, the Creeper. They don't know it's the Creeper at the time, but
not to be confused with the Creeper from Scooby-Doo.
Or the Creeper from DC Comics.
Yeah, that one too.
Who's a much more hilarious character, even though this movie did have some humor to it. I found certain portions of it to be quite hilarious. But so they come across, they're driving by, they see this big truck, they see a guy, and he's throwing a body down this big giant.
Well, before that, it tried to run him off the road.
I thought that was afterwards.
No, it was before that. So they're sitting there driving, and this black, rusted out van truck thing that is souped up to go super fast. Just like,
which they never explain.
No, it just rides up on them and is trying to go around. Like, he's trying to get him to go around him, but he won't go. Um, it's just great. Like he's just and they
Mm.
it eventually passes them, and as what happens is they come up on this old abandoned church, and they see the truck over there because they recognize it, and they see him throwing the bodies wrapped in sheets down this pipe, and
Yeah, I don't.
Derry gets this bright idea to do this.
Anybody down there?
When's the last time you washed any socks?
It's
Hello?
I am counting to 10,
Something's moving down there.
and then I am letting go and going back to my car.
Quiet!
Oh yeah, I
I
remember the
just saw it
scene.
again. Okay,
Hold my
something
feet.
definitely moving there.
Hold my feet. Sorry for the delayed. It's watching on Twitch. What is it? Some sort of storm drain, I suppose.
and it was between that scene as my favorite, just because of the little quips that she did, where she was just like, "When was the last time you washed these socks?" But it was between that or them watching him eat that cop's tongue out of his head.
Yeah, that was pretty gross. But yeah, so he falls down there into the creeper's hideout, his lair, whatever. And I guess he makes his way out because it's in the basement of this church.
That's where
But
he
inside,
finds
huh?
all the bodies.
Yeah, I was just about to say he's got the creeper's got all these bodies, which I don't know if they're meant to look fake. But they were very fake looking. I'm gonna say this about this movie. The Some of the practical effects worked, some of them didn't. I think a lot of like the body parts, like the heads and the bodies on the walls and stuff. I mean, if you're looking at it from a distance, passable, because I couldn't tell like a lot of that was, whatnot. But like real close up shots, it just seemed fake. So,
Yeah.
very kind of wax museum style. And but he sees all these bodies down there, and then he gets out, and they run on down the road to a diner. You're gonna call the cops. What? It's like these people. Okay, have you seen any of the other movies, Jeremy?
I've seen the second one.
I mean, do they explain what the creeper is? They explain what he does?
I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie in it's been at least 10 years.
Okay, because I know.
That's why I wanted to go back and watch it, because the third one is called Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I think that's what it's called.
I thought that was the new one.
That might be the fourth one.
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers 2 is the next one.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm saying I think the fourth one is Reborn.
Oh yes, fourth is Reborn. Yes.
So I've been trying to figure out exactly how to go about um, what he is. I don't know if they ever explain it or not, to be fair.
I I think that's the problem. I mean, to a certain extent. I'm trying to see if maybe they have.
They don't say in this one, and we'll probably find out later on.
All I know is that it's really difficult because all they pretty much say is that he shows up like what every.
23 springs, and he feeds for 23 days. Are you talking?
No, I had my mic did the little jump thing, so I knew it was going to get all staticky on me, so I was
Okay.
fixing it. But so every 23 springs, so every 23 years he pops up, and all that we get is that he feeds on people, and I guess in a way it must be some sort of rejuvenation.
Yeah, because what he eats what he needs. So like with Justin Long's character, you saw it throughout the movie. His eyes were faded as if he was blind. So he ate Justin Long's eyes, and then at the end of the movie, that's the whole eye looking through.
Yeah, he could see because Giselle, was it Giselle? Jezebel, Giselle.
You're talking about the
Jesus.
psychic?
Yeah, Giselle.
Yes.
Um, she pretty much said, he eats lungs to breathe, he eats eyes to see. I say he eats butts to sit. Um, he eats noses to smell. I don't know, I guess eats tongues to taste, which is a bit backwards. But so he does these things, and then I guess he uses the rest of the body as art on his wall. But other than that, they don't really ever. They don't talk about where he comes from. They don't talk about anything like that. And you would think that if this is a creature that pops up every 23 years, someone would know something.
Nah.
I mean, that's just, he shows up at town, he terrorizes the town for a day or night or whatever, however long he stays. Because, I mean, he was doing a lot of damage in like one night. So, if he's supposed to pop up every 23 years, uh, and hang around for X amount of time, someone somewhere has to know something about this thing. But they don't ever explain it in this one, and no one seems to know anything. They run into a diner to call the cops, and everyone looks at them kind of weird, like, can we help you?
Hey, I was
Weirdo.
right, Jason.
What?
This movie was shot around Ocala.
Was it Ocala?
Yeah, they shot most of it around Ocala, and the highway where it was mostly shot. They actually asked local homeowners to uproot their mailbox temporarily to make it look more deserted.
Do we know what stretch of Ocala does it actually say?
No.
How how far is Ocala?
For me, it's about 2 hours. I could go take a drive.
Is that south? Is that south or is that?
Yes, it's going towards Tampa.
Oh, ah. Hey, we can always take a drive down the old Ocala Highway and figure out where. I mean, things have probably changed since then, so they probably wouldn't even be recognizable.
It,
But
this movie actually was originally titled "Here Comes the Boogeyman."
here comes the boogeyman. But yeah, so he does all this eating and stuff, and terrorizes a cat lady who had a lot of cats, and I do mean a lot of cats.
Found it.
Oh, you found it.
Yep. Um, it's about 25 miles west of Ocala on a road called Tiger Trail, a dead straight north-south stretch of Southwest 180th Avenue Road to the northeast of the town of Dunalon.
Hmm. Interesting. Was the rest of the movie shot around that area? Or was it just the highway shots that were shot
All
there?
of it.
All of
The,
it was shot in that area.
the church has what mysteriously burned down after filming.
Oh, of course it does. It's what happens to all movie things, You find something you find something nice.
Um,
Sound like something was knocking. You find something nice, and it turns out that stuff just mysteriously disappears or burns down, or gets torn apart. It
But
would still be a nice. It'd still be a nice little drive to go, see like where the area is. It's just interesting to know that they got a horror movie that was shot in Florida and takes place in Florida. I love those movies. It's like this movie takes place in Wisconsin, but it was shot in Belgium
yeah,
because it's cheaper. It's nice to know that you got something that's Florida. But
I mean,
yeah, so
look at Friday the 13th. It's filmed in New Jersey,
New Jersey,
Camp
which is-
Nobiboski.
yeah, we're gonna have to take a trip up there too. Do maybe like an annual Scary Stories by the Campfire road trip where we visit these different locales. But so they pretty much go from so this is basically how the plot goes, okay? Creeper attacks, they run. Creeper attacks, they run. Creeper attacks, they run again. Creeper attacks, gets away with the guy, kills the guy, end of movie. And that's the entire playthrough. It's probably why I completely forgot about it, because there's no real interesting plot going on. They don't explain what the monster is. They don't explain why he's there. They explain nothing. It's just, I mean, for crying out loud, it would make sense if, he ate eyes, he could see. He eats tongue, he can taste. He eats lungs, he can breathe. Where did he get wings? Are those just natural to his quote-unquote species? Or did he just, see a bat and was just like, oh, I want those. Nom, nom. Thank goodness he didn't eat chicken wings. Boy wouldn't get that far. Now,
But
speaking of which,
they did
yes.
try to kill him.
Yep, but this thing is by far not the most intimidating thing in this movie, okay? He's not as scary as people try to make him out to be. Jeremy, roll that beautiful bean footage. Yeah, that's right. He went straight up into the air, just, and then he came down. He came down like Diablo loot, like just loot all over the place. There we go. And then she proceeds to hit him, and hit him again.
this poor dude. He took, because what people don't see before that scene, literally 20 seconds before that scene. Unfortunately, I can only show so much. He matrixes over the car.
Yeah, he
Matrix
So they drive-
jumps over it.
so they drive at him, and he runs over the car.
But before that, he was on the hood of the car, and they go to reverse it, and he does a Matrix backflip off of the car.
So he's got these moves, man. He backflips off the car, runs up over the car,
Runs
and then
back
she hits him with
over.
the car.
No, then
Yep,
he
then
runs,
she-
jumps backwards over the car, and then that's when she hit him.
Then she hit him with the car, and he went straight up, and all his loot came out. Boom! They hit him really hard, and then he didn't even bother to get up. Then they hit him 3 or 4 more times, as you saw in the scene. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, and then they drove away. And he, at first he busted out this bat wing. It was the last time she hit him, he busted out this bat wing. He was like, ugh. trying to flap the one wing, and then they just over him. And then after they drove off, he proceeded to kind of put himself back together and hobble off. Most killers, they kind of just sit up, they're like, ugh, and then they get up and just walk off. No, he hobbled off. He was broken. He, my leg, it's stuck.
And it was priceless because after that, like while he's hobbling around, he's like loading the bodies. Like they have the camera in the back of the van. They open the door. He opens the door and he like throws one of the bodies in. And he throws the other body in and he shuts the doors, and then proceeds to open one of them and like toss the cop's head into the back of the van and shut it. I couldn't help but laugh at that.
And right before that, because they were at the cat lady's house, she was telling them, "Oh, don't bring the cops around here." And they say there's laws about how many cats I can have. I can have as many as I want. And then he shows up as the Scarecrow. I guess it's like a famous shot of him. It's like when everyone remembers where he's doing the Scarecrow thing.
That's in the second movie, though. That's the funny part. That's not until the second.
Oh, that the whole Scarecrow thing happened? Well, I mean, he's a Scarecrow in this one.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't even on the thing. He was just standing by one.
Didn't he have his arms up?
No.
Like he was pretending?
No.
Oh, okay. Whatever, bro. He was standing in front of the Scarecrow post, okay? It looked like maybe he was just standing in front of it with his arms up.
I guess ever since the church burned down in the second one, he just hangs out on the Scarecrow post until it's time to feed.
I guess so.
What if a farmer came down to try to remove him?
What was that Scarecrow movie we watched? Dark Night of the Scarecrow? They're both out there together, just hanging up on the... But yeah, so and the cat lady got her shotgun. She's like, "That's not my Scarecrow." And then, what was that gun packing? Because that Scarecrow post exploded. We're talking about like someone like blew something up.
It literally looked like an action movie when they blew it up.
And he jumped off like a cartoon and landed in her house or whatever. And she's like, "What did you guys bring into my house?" And then she went inside, and this is okay. If anyone is watching live, this is what the brother and sister look like. Yeah. And that's what they did the entire time. Stood there with their mouths open, looking at the house. All of a sudden, you hear, and the whole house lights up.
I'm telling you, man, that gun was packing a lot because it lit the entire house up. First floor, second floor.
And they're standing there and they're like, and you see, and they're just, it's like, now is your time to leave. You know that, right? I mean, yeah, I know you kind of brought this monster to this poor lady's house. Once she goes inside, that is the time when you pack up and you leave. Maybe he won't follow you. Maybe she'll keep him distracted long enough. I don't know. But you're not... Yeah, people are going to come down and be like, "Well, Jason, you can't just leave the lady behind. That's not very nice." They didn't even bother to step in to help her. If you're not stepping in to help, leave.
Yep.
Instead, they want to stay in the front yard and go, I think they did that just for about everything. The creeper when he killed the cops on the highway and he was...
eating their tongue.
Yeah, eating the last taffy tongue out of that one. They were just sitting there. They're just sitting there staring at him. Oh, look, he's standing in the middle of the road looking at us, wanting us to hit him with the car. What do we do?
Have a staring contest. That's what we're going to do. Well, after they leave Crazy Cat Lady's house, they go to the police station where we get the final thing. And the creeper blows out the power. So they go into the basement, into the cells to do an emergency like roll call. And he's literally in there eating an inmate.
I don't know how he got in there. Did he break through the wall?
I don't know, but he's like sitting there crouched down, his wings. It looks like Gollum from Lord of the Rings just over there. And then he kills the cop. And then that's just when we get this fiasco of a climax.
So, in a movie where they... Wait, are you playing something?
No?
Okay. You just look like you were getting ready to play something, and I guess I don't have the... Not looking at the Twitch currently, and
No.
Twitch is always behind for me, so I may be talking over something. But no, he kills a couple cops, and then it goes over to the siblings or whatever. Okay, now Giselle is here with them. Okay, here's another thing.
Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get
Another
them keepers?
Another character that gets no explanation. Now, if they explain like who the creeper is and who Giselle is in like a later movie, that's fine. But if we go through 4 movies and they don't explain anything about anything, I'm going to be very highly upset. Okay. Yes, I do like an air of mystery, something like Jaws, where you don't get to see the shark until almost towards the end of the film, or something of that nature, where you may have like this creature or something that you don't see, and then you may start seeing it towards the middle of the film, and then like towards the end they kind of explain, or maybe even they explain it in like the next movie. But I'm not going through 4 movies without them telling me what the heck this thing is. This
It's a demon
piece of
thing.
walking. He looks like a piece of walking beef jerky, okay? And not the good kind, one that's been like old and mildewy for a little while.
Well, Jonathan Breck is the one who played the creeper, and he plays him.
He had some wicked fuzzy hair.
He plays him in 3 of the 4 movies, and actually has said that this is the best role he's ever played.
He did look like he was having fun. I'll give him that. There was moments where, and I think that's the thing with like certain movies is that.
I mean, considering his other movie was Spy Kids 4.
Still better than. Well, I mean, we haven't actually seen Jeepers Creepers
2, 3, or 4.
4. But he did look like he was having a lot of fun with this role. So I can't blame him for that. You're doing a fun acting gig, it'll be fun even if it's a bad movie. But yeah, Giselle, who's supposed to be some sort of psychic or someone who has premonitions, she can see stuff in her dreams and kind of give you a puzzle piece of it, but not the entire thing. She appears and then promptly does nothing. She's like, I see one of you screaming in the darkness while Jeepers Creepers is playing in the background. And they're like, can you change it? Do you know what you could, Oh, I love their back and forth banter. They had some of the best dialogue I'd ever heard. She explains her dream or whatever, and Derry goes, do your dreams, are they always true? And she goes, you don't understand. And he says, are they always true? She goes, you don't understand. And he goes, are they always true? You do not understand. And they did this for like, 3 or 4 more times. And it was I'm like, oh my God.
If somebody asks if the dreams come true one more time, I'm going to lose it.
Yes, no. Yes, no. Yes, no. That's it.
But
Giselle, please give me a yes or no.
I will say, though, they really did well with Derry and Trish acting like siblings on a road trip together.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of back and forth of just what siblings actually would do. There was witty comebacks about little things. Like, the dialogue between those two, I was actually kind of impressed with. Because sometimes you get these siblings, quote unquote, but this is not how siblings would act, and we all know it. But these two, I could definitely believe that they were siblings.
Always arguing and um but here's this is another thing that bugged me. Now, I'm gonna spoil something for you, Jeremy. The ending of this movie was not the original ending of the film. The ending of this movie was actually bigger, but they ran out of budget and they had to do this. So, in the police station, the creeper comes in and he's got both Trish and Derry. He's sniffing on them, he's licking them, it's really gross. And then he's like, I guess he picks Derry. And I think the reason why was because Derry was more afraid than Trish was.
Yes.
Because when he was like sniffing her and kind of licking her on the cheek, she almost had like a look of defiance in her face. She's like, no. And he was like, ugh, ugh, it tastes like asparagus. I don't like that. Derry tastes like a cupcake. I want him. And so he takes Derry. And of course, Trish tries to be the hero. She's like, take me, take me. I won't fight. I'll do whatever you want. Just take me. You can have whatever I want. All my stuff's better than him anyway. And I'm pretty sure Derry was telling her not to be a hero. I think is what he was saying. He said something about don't be a hero. And cops, completely incompetent. I'm just saying. The cops that survived went downstairs, got like all the SWAT gear, came upstairs, didn't look like they belonged on SWAT. I'm just saying, they looked like a bunch of cops just dressed up in SWAT gear. And they pulled their guns out and they just kind of went, not really gonna shoot. We're kind of afraid of this thing. So Creeper jumps out the window with Derry, and then the cops are then morning happens, and I guess Trish's parents come to pick her up, and you go to this meat processing plant or whatever, and the Creeper's in there.
Oh yeah.
And singing his little and you hear like the screaming in the background as we're moving through the meat plant or whatever. But by the time they get to the end, he's already killed Derry. He's pulled out his eyes. I guess eaten them already because now the Creeper has his eyes. And he's got his like little skin guy or whatever. And that's the end of the movie. But apparently the original end of the movie was supposed to be Derry going out kind of in like a heroic way.
Yep.
Oh, did you read that?
I did. I was actually just reading it.
Where yeah, I guess the Creeper was supposed to like jump on top of the car or whatever. And they were supposed to run into something. Drive into something. I think it was like
He was supposed to put Derry in the truck, and Derry was supposed to take control of the Creeper's truck and drive it into an oncoming train.
Which was supposed to kill them both, but the ending still would have technically been the same. Everyone would have thought that Derry and the Creeper died in the explosion, but the Creeper still takes Derry's body and gets the eyes and all that stuff. So that still relatively stayed the same. They just had to skip the whole fiery explosion. We got to miss a really awesome 100,000 mile per hour truck drive into a train. So
apparently Trish and Derry, or Justin Long and Gina Phillips, they were not allowed to meet Jonathan Breck before filming. So they had no idea what the Creeper was going to look like or his truck. All of that was made so they would have to see it when they filmed it.
I mean, a lot of stuff like that does make sense, especially if you're trying to keep an air of mystery and keep the actors in some sort of suspense. That way, there's a part of them that, if it is a very scary situation, they would react accordingly. It'd be really hard for, the actors to show up and be like, "Oh, hey, and this is your creeper guy. This is what he's dressed up like." Well, now you already know. The surprise is gone. Yeah.
So, Florida proved to be a very bad or hard place to film. They said Victor Salva, who weighed 400 pounds when filming this movie, found the heat and humidity unbearably oppressive because he filmed it, I think, in summer, late spring, early summer. Well,
I mean,
but here's the kicker. There were so many noisy insects that they would have to shoot a pistol before the camera started rolling to silence everything.
wow. Did did the did they not do any sort of location scouting?
I have no idea.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure what I I hear the term location scouting, and I presume that's what happens in like pre-production when they're trying to find locations to shoot. They send out these people to go out there and kind of jot down notes or do something to kind of get the idea of what the area's like. I mean, Florida, middle of summer, hot, humid, but you know what? It fit the movie.
No, yeah.
It looked like it was hot. It looked like it was uncomfortable, and that's kind of the feel of how it's supposed to be. This isn't a pretty horror movie, okay? I use that term oddly because horror movies aren't pretty per se. But when I'm talking about like dirty horror movies, I'm talking about something like Texas Chainsaw. Like the original when it was filmed, it was all the film looked gritty and dirty. It was nasty kind of looking film, which is what it's supposed to be.
Yep.
This one felt kind of the same way. I mean, it wasn't like the lens or anything was dirty, but looked like the actors were sweating, which gave it the realism. It's not like, you're filming a movie that. I love it when they film a movie. It's supposed to be in summer and they're wearing short shirts, or they got the short sleeve shirts and the shorts on, but they're actually shooting in like late fall, so it's like 30 degrees outside.
Yeah, and they're all freezing.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's so hot out here." Da, 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 da. And I'm like, "You're not even sweating. I can see your
And
breath."
it's funny that you bring that up because you can always tell when they're shooting something in snow, and you can tell if it's actually cold or not, or if it's fake. There's always one subtle way to tell.
You tell.
What happens when it's really cold outside? You see your breath. So if you watch...
I stay inside.
Well, if you watch movies, when it gets really... and they're filming in like snow and stuff, if they're filming actually in the cold, you can see their breath coming out. But if it's not, then they're filming on fake snow. But do you know who originally was supposed to play the role of the creeper? Actually, I take that back. Who was the role written for originally?
Who?
Lance Henriksen.
Lance
Bishop.
Henriksen. He was supposed. Wait, was he? He was supposed to be like the actual creeper.
Uh-huh. Due to his role in Pumpkinhead.
That's another movie series. Pumpkinhead scared me. I never liked Pumpkinhead. I think it's just like the image of him like coming out of the barn or whatever. Like, oh, I'm like, ew, I don't like it. I just saw him on this list thing. Does he appear in like one of the later movies?
No.
There's the other creeper guy. Oh, well, they got a bunch of creepers on here. I don't know. Yeah, all I know is that this movie was all right. It was all right. I think.
And this is how I look at it. The beginning is good. It's got a decent, fairy ending to it, but the middle stuff is just kind of blah. Like, I love the beginning of the movie. I thought the beginning of the movie was really well done. But when they start getting into it and stuff like that, that's when it started going downhill for me.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think for the most part, the movie just got repetitive. See creeper, get chased by creeper, run from creeper. Get chased by creeper, get run from creeper.
Oh my God.
Oh, what happened?
I just realized that scene where he's eating the Laffy Taffy tongue. Did you know what it's in front of? It's from that meat market sign that says, "Tastes so darn good."
Oh, okay. I guess that tongue was pretty good, I suppose.
But the way they filmed it makes it look like he's like kissing the head.
Yeah, at first I thought he was. Maybe he was. Maybe he was, Jeremy. Maybe he just wanted a little kissy, and then he got in there. I was like, I'm gonna get some of this little tongue, and then I'm just gonna eat this tongue.
Ah!
Because oddly enough, I can't taste the tongue, so I'm gonna eat this tongue so I can taste the rest. But yeah. So
like I said, it started high and went downhill for me.
overall, the movie was, yeah. I mean, this movie was a decent movie. Now, here's the thing. If they just left the movie alone, they make another one. They don't make 2, 3, or 4. This was just a single movie by itself. I'd say it's an okay movie. So far, I mean, they got 4 movies. I personally, right now, think this is an all right movie. Now, depending on what happens with the movies later on, will determine whether it's better or worse. Now, from what I understand, this is the high point, folks. We've already reached the summit. Everything else is downhill after this.
Oh.
I mean,
I haven't seen Reborn yet, but from what I've heard,
I'm sure that the other movies may give us even funnier moments, but the story could be just as bad. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
well, Jason and everybody watching at home, it is that time. Let's find out what everybody thought. IMDb on a scale of 0 to 10, with a grand total of 141,000 votes. What do we give? Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? IMDb.
I have to put this on Spotify.
Oh yeah, Jason, we gotta add this song to our Scary Story Spotify playlist.
Yeah, I didn't have anything for Valentine. I could probably add something. I think that's something I could put down, but I think I could put down like a Rob Zombie song.
Well, PJ says it's a 4.9. Jason is saying a 6.2. I think Jason is the highest so far. Let's see what Ravenfire has to say. She's saying a 5. All right, if there's anybody else out there that wants to play along, we'll give you a couple more minutes. Amber 13, if you want to play, because I know you're there.
Who?
Oh, I'm just looking through the viewers of people who are usually there every week. But
Yeah, guys, come on, participate. It's always fun.
I know, especially when I make up crazy deaths for y'all when y'all lose.
Well, Jeremy, I hate to tell you, you only gonna be a handful in this one.
Well, PJ, You're like the crazy cat lady. We don't know what happened. You just kind of plopped over and everyone's just kind of, huh?
Yeah, he didn't. I don't think he actually killed her.
Oh, he did.
Did he?
Uh-huh.
No, because he was choking her. He had her by the side.
PJ
and he was
shot
kind
the
of choking.
scarecrow. You were the
She was like-
scarecrow. You went boom.
But she was, yeah, she was the scarecrow. But the cat lady was still like she was like kind of choking, and then he just kind of tossed her to the side. He didn't bite her, didn't eat her or anything. So I'm
She's
gonna
dead.
go with the fact that she's still alive.
No, she's dead.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna look it up.
Raven, you're like the male cop that was in the car that got his head just decapitated with the axe just for the creeper to be like, no, 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 no.
Ew, not the tongue. This movie was only.
Jason, I think you cheated because you nailed it right on the head. It was a 6.2 out of 10.
How? It's just call me a cheater. Oh, God, that's not very nice. Oh, never mind. She's dead.
Told you. I told you. No, Jason, you're like Giselle. He came sniffing, and he's like, ew.
Yeah, he didn't like Giselle. Right, because she wasn't like afraid.
She's over there saying a prayer, thinking she's about to die.
Yeah, doesn't mean she's scared, bro.
Well, on to the creepometer.
The creeper meter.
It's the Jeepers Creepers meter. The creepometer for short. Ah! I can't believe I just came up with that on the fly.
Wow.
The creeper meter. Hey, Jesse, it's just like whose line is it anyway? Everything's made up and the points don't matter.
And the names don't matter at this point. Oh, Jesus.
So, with the creeper meter, on a scale of 0 to 100, what do we think critics thought of 115 reviews?
Critics thought this was a 53.
53. PJ says 57.
PJ! Don't you overshoot me. Hey, speaking of overshoot,
That scarecrow
Multiple.
was overshot.
with people putting it, Raven, don't you overshoot PJ. So, since we're at the tail end of this, did you know, ladies and gentlemen, trivia time, did you know that at the end of the movie, when you have Derry with his eyes missing, and that shot with the creeper looking down through the eye, that was Justin Long as the creeper.
Oh, to make the eye probably the same, but that's cool.
To make the eye the same, they dressed him up. And I think someone said just seeing that was like really creepy. Seeing like Justin Long dressed up as the creeper looking through like his own body.
Well, it's funny because you were saying like he eats their butt to sit down. Dave,
Yeah.
the guy who plays the creeper, he actually shaved his head for the role because he was like, when he read what he did is he ate things. He's like, yeah, I figured I would just eat hair to get hair.
Oh, he had hair. He had that big bushy whatever
Mullet, his bald
granny hair. His granny curly hair. He stood next to the old cat lady. They looked like they had the same hair. It was just like his hair got caught in the dryer or something. It was all like whoosh. Oh God, this movie is just something.
Well,
I can't take it seriously. It's just more fun to laugh at.
Ravenfire, you're like that poor dude Justin Long fell at the bottom of the pipe. He's like, and his body's all like stitched up the center. He's like,
What did he take from
I think it took a lung.
him? I bet the creeper took his bladder so he could use the bathroom. This just gets, it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense. I know what the people who created this movie were thinking. Oh my god, that's creepy. That's a good idea. What does he do? He eats the eye so he can see things. That's amazing. What else does he do? He eats the lungs so he can breathe. That is really good. What else does he do?
He eats the intestines to digest food.
He eats the stomach so he can hold the food. God, this is so stupid. So we're making this guy a whole lot less creepy than he's supposed to be. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
He avoided eating the sinuses so he doesn't have stuffy nose anymore.
Maybe you should eat a brain every now and then so you can start thinking. Maybe not get hit by the car.
All right, so Ravenfire lost her lungs. PJ, you're like that poor convict that was just getting eaten by the creeper somehow.
He eats hearts so he can love.
He eats the liver to process toxins from the bodies that he eats.
And he paired it with a fun Chianti. What did you say, fava beans? Silence of the Lambs. This is going downhill too fast. Okay, so Raven, PJ, dead. Got it. Oh,
Jason, you're the cop who froze. I got his arm eaten off. And then died.
did that cop die?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I guess so.
The creeper meter was a 45%.
45. Ugh.
And the audience score at a 250,000 plus rating. What you got?
Ooh, excusez-moi. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
PJ, you're Justin Long. Your peepers are missing. Jeepers, peepers.
I gotta get my mask on.
Where'd you get them peepers? I know. Oh, that reminds me of Weekend at Bernie's when she says I'm blind.
Weekend at Bernie's. That's one we're never gonna cover on here.
Might as well be.
Well, it is about a zombie. At least the second one is. So
Ravenfire, you're like any of the cops that died in the police station during the final fight. It didn't matter which one. They all. Like the one that got picked up into the ceiling like the liquor from Resident Evil.
and then they all ran over to the stairwell and they were all looking up. And they didn't even see anything, but they were just all just shooting. They blew up like I think half the police department just blew up the stairwell.
I had something very horrible to say about that, but I'm going to keep it to myself on that one.
Oh, what about cops?
Oh, about them just shooting.
Were they just not what was so horrible?
Something that happened in Okaloosa County.
Oh.
I'll tell you after the podcast.
Ooh. Little after podcast news.
But
Okay.
Ravenfire, you're Trish. You survived. You have no idea what's about to happen. You don't know how you're going to tell your parents. It was a 49%.
Oh my goodness. You know what? That was another thing I hated about this ending. So
There's
so
no
the creeper-
resolution.
Well, I mean, there's a resolution. You get to see what happens to Derry, but the thing about it is that the creeper comes in, snatches him, jumps out the window. She goes out the door, whatever. She chases him for a little ways until she can't see him no more. I guess she goes back to the police station, and then Giselle shows back up. She's like, "Hey, Trish, your parents are here to pick you up." And of course, you don't see the parents or anything, but Trish gets up and walks out. And then we cut to the plant where Derry's been killed and whatnot. And it's just like, are you guys not gonna go look for him? Did you? I mean, I think I saw somewhere that it's supposed to kind of be. There's like parts. I don't know if it's the next movie or the third movie or whatever. They kind of like intersect a little bit towards the end, so you kind of see what happens a little bit, but it's more like just like it just kind of bothers me. It's like, you know, it's your brother, right? And you're not even gonna be like doing anything. I mean, the cops had the whole night or what was left of the night to go look for him.
Yep.
Did they?
Probably
go.
not.
Hey guys, my brother just got taken away by a giant man bat. Swear to God, it was Batman in the sky. He took my brother. I know there's no killing policy for Batman, but that was a bad man. And the cops are like, "Yeah, we saw. Are you gonna go help me go get him?" Yeah, no, he's out of our jurisdiction now.
he's
not
too
going out there.
he's too high up in the sky for me. Well,
we don't have the SWAT team for this.
well, everybody, that's all the time we got for tonight. Thank you for joining us in this rural town of Florida as we followed the creeper through and through. But we will see y'all next week as he decides.
In the next county of Poho.
Poho, Florida, where he attacks a bus.
What is this one? This one was in Periwink or something.
That's something
What
silly.
was the name of it? I don't know what this one was called real quick.
But we will definitely be seeing y'all next week. We will be out at Pensacon this weekend, hanging out. So if you see us, if you recognize us, come say hi. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Me and Jason go every year to Pensacon, so we'll be floating around out there.
Yes, we will.
Did you find the town or the county that's not Poho?
Not really. I know it's in here somewhere, but we can get to it next.
Well, with that
Next
being
week.
said, here is Jeepers Creepers 2.
Really? You check the other two. Make sure they're wired up good.
A lot of good they're doing.
How long can they keep this up? Forever.
We are down and disabled out on East 9. Anyone read me?
It's gonna be dark in about an hour.
There's something going on out here, and I don't like it.
dream.
He was trying to warn all of us. This thing has been around for thousands of years. Nothing has been able to kill it.
It gets to eat.
There are two classes of people now. What the will be eaten and the won't be eaten.
Welcome to day 23.
We thought it was trying to come in, but this frickin' thing was making sure we couldn't get out.
All you kids, get down!
Is it dead?
Looks dead to me.